Yes.
The debate you mentioned that you were in with the other candidates running against you, is that online anywhere, recorded anywhere that we can watch? I didn't know what was going on.
It was a 912 group that put it on, and they were filming it. So you might check with them. Bill Wildern is sharing. Pardon? In Adrian last night. And I know they were filming it. I don't know if they're going to put it on their website.
What was the name of the organization?
It's 912, the Lenawee County 912 group. It was 2 hours of fun and enjoyment. Uh-oh, I just did a facial expression that's going to show up, I bet. Yes, sir.
Some of the power generation in this country, nuclear, how do you plan to vote nuclear? How do you plan to vote on the $2 billion that's been shoved into the solar and wind manufacturers? And by the way, this is and all of these other things that go along with, as far as I'm concerned, destroying our system of power generation. I used to say, when we were talking about having power outages and so forth, I used to say, the last guy out better have a, turn the lights off, turn the switch on. Now I say the last guy out of the station better have a battery, real good battery, or a flashlight with real good batteries in it. Because I used to work for consumers. I work in nuclear power plants. And I listen to all of this rhetoric that goes on. But as far as I'm concerned, and you never hear, excuse me, let me back up. You never hear another word about hydrogen. How? You never. How do you plan to vote on these things? Japanese car company developed a hydrogen cell, put it in the back end of the little car, and all you had to do was pour water into this hydrogen cell. You never hear about that anymore. Once they made the news release, you never hear about it. It's been 6 months since they did that. What do you? How do you plan to attack these issues?
How do I plan to attack the issues of energy? And I would say it this way. First, I'll start by saying Mark Schauer voted for cap and trade, cap and tax. The largest tax, let alone energy tax, in the United States will ever know if it's passed. Thankfully, the Senate has bottled it up, and it appears like it has no chance this term, this 2-year term of passing. It'll be back. I offered legislation when I was in Congress. It was an actual bill of less than 150 pages. That was an all-of-the-above energy plan that said let's give incentive for the creation of new and usable resources of energy. That would include bio, that would include hydrogen, that would include wind and solar, all of the new energy stuff. But it also was a bill that gave incentive for using the present resources that we have to continue using unless we want to turn out the lights. And that includes coal. We're the Saudi Arabia of coal. And with clean coal technology, we can do it environmentally sound and safe. And we can supply enough energy if we start permitting new coal-fired generating plants that we have to do soon because our plants are old. If we're going to plug those electric cars in, we have to have the power to do it. And a windmill isn't going to do it yet. And the solar panel isn't going to do it yet. So coal has to do it. We have 300 years plus, at least, of coal. Oil. We have at least 150 years of oil. What we have in the oil shale reserves out in the Bakken Reserve in the northwest states, what we have in the Marcellus Reserve over in from West Virginia up through Ohio, Pennsylvania, almost touching our borders. And it's really untapped yet. And then what we have in Alaska, a state that wants to use it, out in Anwar. And in fact, I think if we could get the bears and the caribou to talk, they'd say, fine. It gives us heat, and we reproduce better. And we can walk on top of the pipelines. And oh, by the way, we get better health care. Did you know that the veterinarians in Alaska give better health care to the caribou and the herds all across Alaska because of the pipeline, which allows them roads to get into it now?